time, Tasteless, for our next match.
Yes.
The last one was great. The next one, could it be greater?
I don't know.
I hope so. I hope so.
That match, him and I were talking about this the entire time. That last match was so good. Look, I don't know how far Sean Zenith is going to go, but he could get to the finals. To be totally frank,
absolutely a possibility. He is in the Protoss bracket, and he's had a very hard time with PvP.
That's a good point.
We will see about that.
I would not be shocked at this point in time with how the guy's playing as to him getting the finals.
It could happen. It could happen.
Could happen.
I do have to say I'm truly sad because I know a lot of Zerg players out there are having a very hard time with Protoss at the moment, but
they are.
There are ways to do it, and the win just showed us. So I feel sad that we can't see more games from the win this season to have people study and be like, oh.
He was playing, like, perfectly.
He was.
There was one moment where he lost a bunch of corruptors at the start. Remember the blink?
Yeah.
That was one big mistake. And then, of course, attacking with roaches against Stalker Void was probably a mistake as well. All right, let's take a look at our players now, though. So on to the next game. We have Ro16 TricKsteR against SC Foyu PBT.
Yeah, the last Foyu in the tournament against the amazing Ro16.
Ro16, very solid.
Yeah, he is.
Well-rounded, not risky.
I'm looking forward to seeing his new and improved PBT. His PBT last season was just slightly lacking for me. It wasn't as good as I expect from him. But it seems like every Protoss in the world has really and truly improved in PBT recently. So I cannot wait to see what he's going to do to SC Foyu. Now, SC Foyu, this guy has the weight of a whole team on his shoulders. There aren't a whole lot of Terrans left over, and he is one of them. Can he make it into a not all Protoss bracket? I don't know. We'll see.
We're going to find out. Ro16, known as TricKsteR in StarCraft 1, he's a very solid player.
Yeah. And in fact, he's so solid you can tell he only makes top 8s. Doesn't do anything else.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah. So, obviously, if this pattern holds, you will win here and lose the next round. But we will see, Tasteless. The future is not known to anyone yet, except those women that read your palm and Gangnam.
Oh, yeah. The tarot card readers, they know the future.
Yeah, they do. I need a
That's why their valuable future reading skills are left in the tents, in obscure places in the world and not used by governments and scientists. Now,
should be, though.
Honestly, I think SC is a big underdog here.
Yeah, I definitely think he's an underdog. I mean, the thing is,
we've never seen him.
Kisu has played on TV for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. I mean, this guy has had like epic matches against I Love Ooh on television in 2005 and stuff. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the guy has infinity practice in the booth under pressure.
Yeah.
And
he's not going to get nervous, and frankly, SC has a lot of pressure on him.
He does. He does. He wants to get far. He's kind of an underrated player, I want to say. Not a lot of people really see him and think, "Oh, you're like a round of 16 player in Code S." No, he's doing well, but
yeah,
he's not really thought of that way. So he has a lot of pressure in one way, but in the other way, do people expect him to win this match? I don't know.
As you can see with their headsets from Razer, they light up.
They're actually really cool. The more I look at them, the more I want them.
As the APM
marketing
increases,
works.
Yeah, it does, man. In fact, we should probably go steal some of those.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
I bet they have some backstage.
Yeah, you're right.
Tal'Darim Altar is going to be our map.
Cool map.
Big map, open map. And after that, we're going to have Terminus and then Scrap Station. So macro maps are going to be what you're going to have to win on. I think it's going to be maps that favor Ro16 here on the left. But you never know. SC is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Also competent. So you never know.
That's quite true. Well, going to be starting pretty quickly here. Again. Well, anyways, we're doing the countdown. Never mind.
Countdown is starting. Thank you, Intel, G-Skill, and Coca-Cola for sponsoring the GSL. Without sponsorship like yours, esports wouldn't be possible. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in and spreading the word about the GSL. But that's enough. There's no more time. Let's get ready for some PBT action here with Ro16 against SC Foyu here at the GSL. Casted by Tastes and Artosis. Tastosis, the Cassian Archon. Let's do this.
Let's do it. There's no turning back now.
No turning back. In the red at the bottom left, our Protoss.
TricKsteR, TricKsteR.
TricKsteR. His ID is actually Sagisu, which is a play on his name, which is Sokisu. Sagisu coming out to mean TricKsteR. But, oh, well, I'll talk about that more in a minute. Over here in the blue.
SC for you.
Since our toast has actually lived with Sokisu, and for the sake of not making things confusing, we're just going to refer to him as Sokisu.
Yep.
I have a hard enough time when I cast Idris games not calling him Greg.
I know. Well, Tasteless. It's a big map. They're pretty far away, even though they're relatively close position. It's oh my, this is actually a rotationally symmetric map.
Ooh, good word.
It is. Good two words together. TVP. I do love this matchup. It's so fun
I
to watch.
love it.
There's a lot of ways you can play
I feel
it.
like it's just still to this day the matchup that we haven't fully figured out yet.
Absolutely.
It's
I
like,
feel like
there's so much stuff you can do.
Yeah, the Protosses seem to be taking the lead. And I feel like the Terrans are going to have to start stepping it up, trying out more siege tank play. You know, siege tanks are the late game of Terran. But a lot of people still just choosing to go, you know, Marine, Marauder, Ghost, Viking.
Yeah.
And, you know, late game, you have Psy Storms and Colossi mixed in. It can be pretty hard to break them with that.
It's funny because it started out being so Terran dominant.
Yeah. Well, the Marines and the Marauders are like easy to figure out how to use, whereas Sentries are going to take a little bit longer.
The fact that late game consists of Tier 1 units, you know.
Can that last forever? I don't know.
I have no idea.
We'll have to see.
This is a map I think you have to go infantry, though. You can't turtle and go mech against Protoss on this. You could on a map like Steppes of War.
Oh, well, certainly. But, you know, I don't want to go as far as to say you can or can't do that, because if you look at, for instance, Brood War, how long did it take to truly figure out how to go mech on every map?
Actually, you know, it's a very interesting point.
Years and
because
years.
the amount of time people spent saying that Terran couldn't win.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, actually, you guys are just making the wrong units. You stay in middle tier. I remember, I'm sure you do too, because we were both professional gamers back then, but the moment when people actually figured out that you had to go mech in StarCraft 1, where I'm like, okay.
That was in like 1999.
Yeah.
They were like, oh.
So I remember being like, there are these Terrans out there that wall in and get a siege tank. And initially it was 2 factory, and then there were these Terrans that started to make a command center. Whoa. Back then, when the game wasn't figured out, that was actually pretty tough. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Well, I got to tell you, you see a Reaper coming. That's important. But yeah, the first time that I saw B-Blade Leader actually get Vultures and Vulture upgrades before Siege mode, my brain almost broke. Well, here comes the Reaper. And that Stalker doesn't fear that. He's already died once as a Zealot.
Note he's not mining Vespian gas. That means he's faking tech. He's going to make an expansion pretty quickly up here.
Actually, he's adding gates, Tasteless.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's got 3 gates now. So we may actually see something hyper-aggressive. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it.
You think he's going to do a 4-gate rush? Yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry. He's not going to expand.
This Reaper can take out that probe pretty easily. And in fact, the probe goes and hides.
Oh my god, he just missed it. Wait.
He saw the probe. Goodbye, probe. And that's a sad thing for Pisu. In fact,
he needs to save that pylon ASAP.
Yes, he does.
Most ASAPly.
The utmost haste.
Utmost haste?
Yeah, with the utmost haste. It's a great thing to say.
Never thought I would hear Otosis say that. Okay, over here. Bunker under attack. Only 1 SCV repairing. Make that no SCVs repairing.
In fact, he's just going to run by because the shells aren't done.
What is...
And in fact, he's not just going to run by. Looked like he was going to for a moment.
Well, I thought he was too. I'm a bit confused by Sokisu's build.
Well,
he now has units on gas. Clearly, this is a very delicate build order. He is expanding.
Looks like he just wanted to get some damage done and then realized, oh, there's like 3 bunkers here. This may not work out well. And it wouldn't have either. Even if he had run by, SC now has a siege tank, and can't really kite with stalkers against a siege tank, Tasteless.
No, you cannot.
You can kill the siege tank, perhaps, but kiting, no.
The one thing about running by in StarCraft, you run by their defense and go to their main, you have to really make the right decision.
You're committed in there.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like, well, this has to work now. It's not exactly safe.
Yeah. It's like having a child, Tasteless. You can have a girlfriend, but when you have a child, you are committed.
You got commitment.
You have run by the bunkers,
baby,
Tasteless. Man. You got to take that serious.
That's serious stuff. Now, Tech Lab is almost finished. More gates and a Twilight Council.
Yeah, Twilight Council. By the way, for anyone wondering, when we call that Citadel, that's just what it was called in StarCraft 1
terms. We've gotten better since our first cast here at GSL.
Just calling them Dragons and
Dragoons, man.
That's how my brain works.
Well, there's going to be a little bit of a lull here in the action.
Yeah.
Not a lull, but a lull.
Yeah. L-U-L.
Yeah.
Maybe even L-U-L-L.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Not an LOL.
Not a lullaby. But in fact, just a lull.
Cloak is on the way here. He's going to do a Banshee rush. That's actually quite an interesting response.
It's a great response, yeah, because
there's
here's
no
the
robo.
thing. No robo.
Oh, weird. Yeah. He's getting charged.
Yeah, he may actually just be using that to stop any Marine Marauder aggression that he thinks is coming. But the thing is, he doesn't have a Forge, and he doesn't have a Robo, and he doesn't look like he's going to make either. So the Banshee might actually just end the game for Kisu.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny because we never really see Banshee after fast expand, but I mean...
In fact, he's just adding a lot of gates, Tasteless. I think he is just going to go for a bust. And we may get into a base trade situation where the Banshee's killing every single probe while Kisu's army actually just runs over everything.
Kisu is going to be in trouble if you can't kill him off. You know that song by Yolanda Be Cool? Where they goes,
no.
No, you know what I'm
yeah.
Yeah, it's always playing all over. That's
awesome.
What's going to play when that Banshee gets there and sees there's no detection. He's going to be like, oh, he has no observers or cannons. It's like,
well,
it's the most random thing I've ever said.
Yeah,
it's true.
No, it's cool. It's cool, Tasteless. Well, the Banshee is going down. Kisu is walking up with his units. Thing is, as his probes die, he's not going to have much of an economy to actually kill his units.
He can actually make a Banshee at home and defend too.
Yeah.
And he says, wait a minute, there's no observer here.
Okay, here we go. He's got those charge zealots. It's going to be very hard
he needs to bring out the
actually
SCVs.
hold.
Actually, I think he's going to hold it no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, he's no problem here.
Jesus, you were right. He's going to hold that completely no problem. Wow, I figured that this was some build he had planned out that he... Well, GG. Okay, I'm going to start taking some guesses because that was a train wreck of a game.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Kisu is a mess. It's like God spilled a person. I don't know what to say, Tasteless. That was such a weird thing that we just saw. So I'm going to go ahead and start my Artosis brain working and try to figure out what happened there. SC obviously quite happy. Kisu's like, well, that didn't work. No, it didn't, sir. But let's try to guess why. Okay, first off, he tried to do a 3 warp gate, some sort of pressure. It didn't work out. He decided to expand and get the Citadel. Now, what Kisu did in StarCraft 1, he was a great Protoss vs. Terran player. His favorite thing to do was to crush armies when they came out with a superior force. He was one of these guys who actually just kind of overmade basic units so that when you came out, you were like, oh, whoa, that's like a ton of basic units. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that in StarCraft 1 as well. You do a double expand against Terran, and then you just only make gateways.
Yeah,
and then when the Terran pushes, he's like,
so
whoa.
What I'm thinking is, I don't know if he meant to kill his opponent with that. Okay, I think maybe, possibly, he was just going out there to do an army crush. Like, oh, you want to do a 2-base timing push on me? I'm going to crush it.
I think it was a build that was meant to destroy the third base when it got set up.
Well, that would be coming out as well.
Yeah.
So when the Banshee came, I think perhaps Kisu was like, oh, I'm so screwed. I may as well just attack. I don't have observers.
You know what's weird about it is that Terran, I mean, you get a Banshee and Cloak, that's a lot of money to spend, and yet Terran still had the army to defend that. So that build was a disaster. We don't normally see that in Code S. but Soki Su is still very good. So let's see if he can do better in this game. Otherwise, SC is going to go on to the round of 8.
That just did not go his way. The countdown has begun. Terminus Re, huge map. Very exciting PBTs take place here.
Get ready for some more awesome PBT action here with Tastes and Artosis here at the GSL.